Hey, what's up YouTube? SWPL Gaming here, and today another exciting review, or so he says. The weather is not looking so great in the UK at the moment. Today we're going to be looking at Anbernic's latest device, which is the Rg406V. We've seen this form factor before with the Rg405V, but this time around there are some impressive upgrades that are definitely worth taking a deeper look at. First up, the stunning display that we have here. Although it does share the same size as its predecessor, the 406V brings a sharper 960 by 720 resolution in comparison to the 405V, which was a lot lower. I believe it was 640 by 480. So that bump or boost in resolution really brings out those colors and makes it pop and adds noticeable clarity to your gaming experience overall. You'll also be happy to find that the analog sticks are of a better quality, allowing for better maneuverability and movement. And these are also set in RGB light setting as well. Not to mention that boost in power with the Unisoc T820 chipset, which is also found in the RG Cube as well, giving us much more of the library to play, especially when it comes to PS2 and GameCube. Big screen. Guys, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, smash that like, and if you're in the comment section, leave a heart, let me know that this is real. Let's take a deeper look at this device and see what it can do. Okay, so let's give the specs a rundown real quick. So you've got 3 color variations. You've got beige white, you've got gray standard, and you've got black transparent. You can get them in 3 different types. So you've got in terms of storage anyway. So you can get it without the SD card, you can get it with a 128 SD card, and you can get it with a 256 GB SD card as well. Prices on that will obviously change the higher the SD card you get. The prices start at 164.99 USD, which is a fair price for what this device can do. You've got a 4-inch IPS screen, which is very cool. That's 960 by 720 resolution. The CPU is a the CPU is a Unisoc T820 processor. That's got 8 cores in it. Great. The GPU is a quad-core Mali G57, 850 MHz, and the onboard RAM is 8 gig. LPDDR4X. The onboard storage is 128 gigs, so you've got more than enough space on there, plus the SD card, so that's going to be great. This does run Android 13, so you've got full access to the Play Store, which is lovely. Wi-Fi, 5G, and you've got Bluetooth 5.0. Yes, it does support Android games and so on, and the rest of the information is there. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can take a full look at the specs and go into it in more detail. Let's move on. Shall we take a tour around the exterior? Look at this display. I've got fingerprints on it. Hopefully you can't see it, but I can from this angle. Let's keep that wide down. Right, so much like its predecessor, it feels great and it feels chunky. I think when it comes to vertical handhelds, the thickness and the chunkiness is something that is needed. The 406V is good and it is comfortable, and you can probably get a decent amount of play before it starts making your hands comfortable. But on this device, because it's so chunky and the ergonomics here, it does make it a lot more comfortable. That's something that I've always liked about the 40. I liked it in the 405V, and it's great that they've brought that over to the 406. It makes for a great gaming experience, especially when it comes to long play. So that feels great. The plastics, they don't feel particularly cheap. They feel okay. Slightly matted. You probably still would get some fingerprints on there for sure, but it feels okay to the touch. Action buttons, A, B, X, and Y. You know, they're set in there with the membrane setting. So they're nice and springy, not too much distance between it and pressing it all the way down. Feels all right. It doesn't feel like you're going to press them in until they sort of slide under the outer shell. So they feel decent enough. The D-pad feels good. I've heard a lot about this D-pad, but to me it feels exactly the same as what it would feel like on the 405V. I think they're the same D-pad, but they're going to be great. And I have no doubt that fireballs are going to be pretty decent with it, along with Dragon Punch, Hurricane Kick. We'll take a quick look at that anyway. Definitely feels great. Now the analog sticks. I like the RGBs, it's a nice touch. These analog sticks are quite a bit better in terms of movement, as you can see here, because the way that they're set, they're almost pushed out, but that's also adding to a disadvantage. You see, when you've got a device that's this big and the analog sticks stick out this far, it kind of makes it less pocketable. Definitely not pocketable with the case, but because these sticks protrude so much, although they're better performing sticks, I think this is what they should use going forward, and every other YouTuber that's reviewed this device has said that. It still takes away from the fact that it just protrudes a bit too much, but they look and they feel great, and you know, straight away you notice the movement on them and how it feels in comparison to this. I mean, just to show you the difference between, hold on, let me stand up so I can see what's going on. You can see that, I mean, this was never pocketable to begin with, and the thing is, this device is they were never designed to be pocketable. Portable, yes, pocketable, not so much. But they do feel great, and with those RGBs in there, that's great. And you can mess about with the colors and all that kind of stuff with those. Start and you select, you know, they feel fine, along with your back button here. Not too shabby. Lastly, while I'm on the front of the device, let's just quickly talk about the display. Yes, it's nicer, much better than the 405V. Sharper for sure, that higher resolution. But one thing I don't like about it, or I think I would prefer these bezels or these borders around here to be black, you know. I don't know, I think if it was black, it would make the display look a bit larger. I know they wanted to make it blend in with the exterior shell, and I get it. It looks great, but it just feels a bit smaller, and I'll show you what I mean. In comparison to the 405V, you can see that it's got a black border bezel around there, and it does give it the illusion as if it's a bigger display. It just does, you can see it right there. Moving to the bottom, you've got your headphone jack and your two down firing speakers, and the sound is pretty decent as well. Along the side, you've got your power switch and you've got your volume rocker, and those are sort of embedded in there, so it makes it less likely that you're going to press it. On the other side here, you've got your SD card slot, and you've got your Anbernic button, so you can switch it to the Anbernic front end and back to Android, or whatever you've got set as a front end. Along the top, you've got your fan where the heat dissipates, comes out that way. You've got your charging port, and you've got your LED light. At the back, we still got this little sort of cube symbol where the fan actually is. That's where it's taken the air in, and then obviously out the top. But the noticeable difference in compared to its predecessor are these triggers. They're a lot thinner and a lot smaller. And also, because it's got an extra kind of ridge here, it makes it less likely that you're going to press them by accident. So that, in conjunction with the fact that it's slanted, makes it less likely for you to press it by mistake. So when you power on the device, you are greeted with the Android operating system. Nice little background there, you can see how that's moving. And it's pretty fluid. Might be a bit more trickier in some areas, like on the edge of the display for sure. But on the whole, it's responsive. Just looking at the top here, we'll take a look at the notification bar. And like before, there are a bunch of options on there. You've got your retro game launcher right there. So you can either press this, or you can press the button on the side to switch back to whatever front end you have on there, or back to Android, which is cool. Bluetooth, you've got your key mapping feature right there, which is always fun to play around with. Auto rotate, auto mode, you've got your fan on there, and you've got your night light, so you can dim it a little bit. Talking of brightness and dim, it goes really bright. I mean, on the camera you can see it, and it goes really dim as well, so it's great to play in the dark, which is to times that I always want to play, to be fair. Moving over to this side, you've got your ambient light. You can change that, so you've got light, you can breathe, so it breathes in various colors. You've got rainbow, it's going to flick between it. You've got chasing, as you can see when I make movement here, you can see how it changes there in direction. And then you've got gaming, so I guess that depends on the background of the game or what have you. I need to test it out, to be fair. But yeah, back to marquee, so you can mess around with that and change that. You can turn it off as well. You can switch your modes from either Nintendo mode or Xbox mode. I usually keep it in Nintendo, it's just easy for me. Do not disturb, you got your AirPlay mode and all of these other things, screencasting, although I don't really know how well that works. So that's your notification bar and all your other options, and obviously you can have access to your settings from here as well. You can also power it down from there. Everything that you would expect to see with Android anyway. Now we're going to jump straight into some performance. We're going to start with PS2. You guys know that I like to play games that not everybody else is playing or displaying. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. I love this song, so I'm going to turn it up a little bit just so you can hear the sound quality as well.
So yeah, I think it's safe to leave it right there. I do think that this is worth the upgrade if you do have the 405V, and even if you don't have it, you get that display, you get that extra kick in power, and you get them analog sticks which are, you know, embedded in these RGBs, which I think is a nice touch anyway. This is at the moment the most powerful vertical device that we've got on the market right now, and it is really comfortable. There are a couple of things that can sway you. One of the things that I think they could have done is make the external bevel black, which I spoke about briefly earlier. I think having it white just makes the display look a bit small, and it sort of sells it short just a little bit. That's my personal preference anyway. And then you've got the RGBs. Not everybody likes them. I don't mind them, and I think that's a nice touch myself. And then there's the fact that it's not pocketable per se. You need to be wearing big jeans to do that. But again, it's a portable device, not a pocketable one. And if you're okay and you can deal with those compromises, this might be the device for you. Guys, let me know your questions, comments, and concerns below. Get active. I'm going to be doing some emulation testing with this device anyway. So if there's anything you want to see, leave it in the comments below or leave a heart. Take care, stay safe, and peace.